Hello everyone and welcome back to Mentos Plays Spelunky, episode 67 today, where we will be looking to take on the November 3rd daily challenge. I apologize, I have a little bit of the hiccups that just came on, so apologies if you have to deal with that. You know, I might take this episode to talk about a couple of tweets that I made just a little bit ago about how I feel like Perfect Dark is kind of still ahead of its game in terms of first-person shooter game design. You know, I know it's a, almost 13-year-old game, but a lot of things that it did really well and a lot of ways that it innovated back in 2001 were just kind of left by the wayside and never really brought back and improved upon in the way that a lot of mechanics of other games were. I don't know why that is really, because I think that Perfect Dark at its time was far and away the most advanced first-person shooter, and it was certainly popular enough to warrant, you know, people taking a look at it and saying, what did they do right? But it seems like a whole lot of stuff from it just kind of got forgotten in the movement of time, you know? Like, one great example is counter-operative mode. For those of you who weren't around to play Perfect Dark or just never played it despite playing games at the time, counter-operative mode was essentially one character will play as the protagonist, Joanna Dark. The other character gets to, every time an enemy dies, they get to move on and play as the next enemy closest to Joanna. So what this allowed for, between that and suicide pills being given to the counter-operative, was that essentially it turned a campaign mode into, oh god, what have I done? Come this way. Walk on those spikes. But it essentially turned the campaign mode into into kind of its own multiplayer aspect, where, you know, when you're playing through it, maybe it's not the best design thing in terms of split screen. Oh, come on! Worst way to die on the daily challenge. Worst way to die. Okay then, adventure, here we come. But yeah, what I feel like is missing out not being there is counter-operative is something that would work really well in online multiplayer. That doesn't work nearly as well in split screen like it was back on the N64. You know, you could always look at the opponent's screen and see what enemy they are. Now it would almost give a kind of spy party element to a game, where the person who was the counter-operative was unknown to the player. They had no way to figure it out other than picking up different movements. But once a combat got started between the two, obviously they would be facing off against something much more difficult and much more adaptable than any of the CPUs that were there. Not to mention the fact that it does allow for a lot of replayability on a campaign, and kind of brings the campaign up to the levels of multiplayer in terms of how much worth you can get out of it long term. You know, even if you aren't having that much fun playing against computers in the campaign anymore, you have another way that you can play it that is almost completely different and gives you an entirely unique feel to how the campaign goes if you're playing against someone good. I'm not sure why this mode never resurfaced again, at least to my knowledge. Essentially, it allowed you, and it was just a very fun way to play through the game with your friends, and try to see, you know, if you could survive, and if you could survive as the enemy, if you could kill them before they could complete their objectives. It worked out really well, even back in the day. And that is one feature that I really hope to see kind of a resurgence, because right now we're seeing in the first-person shooter genre, obviously a whole lot of lack of focus on the campaign mode. Quite frankly, people don't play the campaigns in first-person shooters nearly as much as the multiplayer, and so a lot of games anymore, they have very short campaigns that just aren't memorable. They have nothing going for them really, except for the fact that they're there for those who don't really want to play multiplayer. That's really the only reason why they still put them in games. We are actually going to rob this shop, by the way. But I think that adding counter-op back would allow for those same campaigns to be turned into something a lot better, as they would have the ability to kind of work on things in a way that allowed for the players to create their own world, so to speak, in the game. So that's one example that I think was done really well. Another one was the way that they did secondary fire for everything. Now, I know there have been some other games that have had that, you know, weapons have secondary functions, that you can use them in different ways depending on the situation. There have been other games that have done that, but never, I think, but never to my experience at least, to the extent of every weapon in the game having it and allowing you to really have vastly different, not just, you know, slightly different mechanics, but vastly different mechanics on the weapons depending on how you use them. You know, you look at even the punch of Perfect Dark, and if you hit it with your main attack, it was just going to do a regular punch, but if you hit it with your alternate attack, it was going to take the weapon from the opponent, as well as another thing that I kind of miss, blur their screen out to show that they're dizzy and they aren't focused, in a way that allowed you to, you know, take advantage of the fact that you disarm them, not just in having their weapon, but in the fact that you now have a very clear way and a little bit of an advantage in terms of fighting, because they can't see clearly for a little bit. That's one I kind of understand where they were coming from getting rid of it, because I can see it being, you know, to some people a bad thing. But personally, I find it to be one of the more interesting things that could be done. And I wish they would come back in at least some games where there was that feeling of, you know, I got hit in a non-lethal way, but I still got hit in the face. So there's probably going to be some negative side effect to that for me. And, you know, it's not just that, but I mean, you look at, let's say, what's a good example of what I'm looking for here? You can look at the Phoenix, which was one of the alien weapons, which had its primary function being just regular shooting at a decently quick pace, and its secondary function being explosive shots that did a lot more damage and were able to be used as a slower but more hurtful way. You've got the, what was it? The, Super Dragon, I think was the one that I'm thinking of. Because there was a dragon and the Super Dragon. One of them, I believe the dragon, was not so much a... Oh god, that was bullshit. That was bullshit. The dragon was, if you use the primary function, it would use a machine gun. If you did the secondary function, it was a grenade launcher, which I know I've seen done since then. But then the Super Dragon, if you use it as primary function, you could have the machine gun. But if you use the secondary function, you were able to drop the weapon on the floor, which, given the way Perfect Dark item pickups went, would allow you to... I would make the person who saw it actually see it as no different than a weapon they could pick up to use, but it turned into a proximity mine, so when they went to pick it up, it blew up on them, which allowed for a lot of interesting strategy, especially if you know that's your last weapon. Do you want to hold on to it for the machine gun when you're not sure if you'll be able to get the kill and survive? Or do you want to toss it down and play kind of the long con and try to avoid your opponent and have them run over it at some point? And just that fact of every weapon had unique uses that allowed you to not just, you know, say, oh, well, this is different than the way I used it before, but to actually have it be a significant difference between the two uses was really big for me. You know, it opened up the game, it allowed you to play it in much more varying styles, even with less items than otherwise could be there. Another thing, the whole Carrington Institute that you start out in was a really nice touch. I mean, admittedly, it wouldn't be nearly as impressive anymore as it was back in the N64 days, but having that just kind of open-ended area where you can do your target practice, you can get to a computer to do your missions, you can find gadget training. You can mess with the people there and fill them full of throwing knives. That kind of stuff was really, really fun to play around with. Not just because it was newer at the time, but mostly because it kind of gave a new level to setting up the game. You weren't just sitting at a menu and then once you went through the menu, all of a sudden here you are in the actual game. You were starting the game out in a way that allowed you to feel like you were a part of the world, and then, god damn it, key. But yeah, you were starting it out in a way that allowed you to kind of instantly kind of pull yourself into the world that, you know, a lot of games don't bother with. A lot of them, it's just you pop up, you go right into a menu screen, and, you know, after that you can go to all these things that are all different menus of their own, and it works, but I just wish that there was a little bit of a touch of that style. The other main thing that I wanted to mention that I loved about it was the bot control. Not just the bots that, you know, you set up to play against you, which did have quite a high level of, you know, uniqueness in the fact that there were several different varieties of bots that had different focuses they would go on. You could spawn a pacifist bot that would allow you to really rope or rock, sorry, but you could spawn a pacifist bot that wouldn't attack you. You could spawn a melee bot that would only attack you with fists. All these things were pre-programmed characteristics of these enemies that allowed you to really kind of, I guess you could say, that allowed you to really kind of, god damn it. This has been a bad day of Spelunky so far. But those allowed you to really kind of customize what kind of multiplayer experience you wanted when you were playing with bots. And then you run into actually having bots on your team where bots weren't just, you know, things that went and did their own thing. They were legitimately highly controllable things. You know, if you've never seen the bot control menu from Perfect Dark, you could use it not just for actually controlling the bots, but for setting up whole strategies. Let's say you're playing just a regular team deathmatch. You know, just killing each other as much as you want. And one of the items on there was remote mines, which this is one of the fun things that we used to always use bots for when I played Perfect Dark a lot back in the day. You know, you could set it up where X bot was going to be following Y enemy. So let's say that you had one bot on your team who was just a regular bot, but you want him to follow this character who is one of your human opponents, and you want to try to use the bot to get them killed. You could then take those remote mines, plant the remote mines onto the bot, so that A, if they shot at the bot, there would be a chance that they would blow themselves up from shooting the mines, and B, if they didn't shoot at the bot and you were in a position where you could stay behind the bot decently well and follow them, you could then wait for them to get close to the person, and when they did, after you set them to melee combat that person only, which was the degree of customization of your bot mechanics that you could use in mid-game, you set them to melee only so they get close to the enemy, and then when they do, you set off those remote mines, and suddenly you've created a walking remote mine that allows you to... You've created a walking remote mine that allows you to hang back and make it move actively toward the enemy. You know, there were other types of things where you could, say, tell the bot to defend your base and or stand still at that matter, not even defend your base, just stand still at your base, and then have proximity mines on him so that whenever someone came walking by, since he wasn't moving, he wouldn't trigger them, but when someone came walking into your base and, let's say, capture the flag, when you were to walk by, you were going to... Oh, God. I didn't mean to, shopkeeper, I swear. At least you have something good. I swear I didn't mean to kill you. But yeah, so, you know, there's this bot menu that Perfect Dark had. I don't think I've ever seen a game where mid-game you have so much control over what the bots do as you did in Perfect Dark back then. And that's kind of crazy to me, you know. You would think with the focus on multiplayer, you know, even though it's mostly player versus player multiplayer these days, you don't have as much need for bots with online modes and everything. There's still just nowhere near as much focus on making sure that if you have non-human players in your game, that you can use them to the best of their abilities. You know, things these days talk about having good mechanics for what am I looking for here? For controlling CPUs and everything, and squad control, but what they have is really nowhere near what Perfect Dark had back in 2001. In terms of, you can tell them, you know, go attack or go defend, but you can't tell them, you know, go follow this specific enemy and I'm going to put a mine on you, and when you get there I'm going to blow it up. You can't tell them really to just, there was so much customization in that menu. It's been a long time since I've messed with it, so I don't recall exactly all the options, but I know that there were a ton of strategies you could use to just absolutely make those bots something useful instead of just something that you had in there because you didn't have enough human players. Oh, yeah, there's an arrow trap there. So, I mean, there are some other things, too, that I'm probably not getting to that are maybe even bigger than some of those things. But because of the fact that I haven't played the game in quite some time, they're kind of eluding me. But what I'm trying to get at here is Perfect Dark kind of pushed the boundaries in terms of a lot of things. And as consoles got more powerful, you didn't really see things get more controllable and more varied like that. Instead, you saw kind of a return to more regularized things where, you know, you could tell the bots to attack, but you couldn't tell them to attack X enemy that's not on screen that you can't aim at. You didn't have this big web of options that allowed you to control every single bot with a meaningful strategy on a moment's notice. You can't really do that anymore. You can control your squad, you can control, you know, basic functions, but nowhere near the functions that you could before. The guns, especially in futuristic ones where it makes sense for there to be multiple firing modes, they don't really allow for that anymore. Some of them will occasionally try it, but never to the extent that Perfect Dark got it right, I feel, in terms of just making sure that every weapon not only felt unique on its own right, but felt unique in terms of the way that it was used secondarily, which allowed for pretty much having double the items. You know, the motion blur and everything was really nice, although especially I got to throw out a little bit of a shout out to the N-Bomb, which, you know, in hindsight is kind of a funny name, because when you look at it, you know it means neutron bomb, but come on, there's another way you can interpret that meaning that sounds kind of funnier. But, you know, with that, there was the big explosion, and it didn't kill anyone. At least not inherently, but what it allowed you to do instead was it allowed you to disarm your opponents and to make their vision blurry, so if you were nearby when it went off, you had a nice easy way to make sure that you were taken care of, so to speak, in terms of being able to come at them afterwards. You know, I would love to see a return of some kind of FPS that allowed for the holding of every weapon on the map at the same time. I really miss that mechanic in almost every, actually, old school first-person shooter. But, you know, I would like to see that. But really what I want to see from them that would make me play shooters again is things that aren't really the norm, is things that are allowing you that level of customization, that are opening up new game modes that aren't really expanded on well, like the counter-op mode. That's really what would get me back into a genre that I feel has gone pretty bland as a whole. And you know, there are some games that are pushing their own boundaries. You know, I have nothing against Paranautical Activity. In fact, I really enjoy that game. But it's also not in the same vein as a Perfect Dark, a Call of Duty, a competitive slash campaign-driven shooter. It's a roguelike shooter, which is great in its own right, don't get me wrong, but it also means that it doesn't quite have the same qualifications for what is, you know, a standard, because there is no standard. That thing hasn't been done a whole lot yet. Whereas, you know, the standard first-person shooter modes that we see in Call of Duty and Battlefield, you know, how many times have you played Team Deathmatch? How many times have you played your standard fare of, what am I looking for here, of just regular Deathmatch or Capture the Flag? Or how many times have you gotten a first-person shooter and been disappointed that the single player wasn't even worth spending time on, nonetheless being good in its own right? You know, I feel like a lot of things could be done to improve the quality of gameplay that just kind of fell by the wayside when Halo got as successful as it did. You know, there were other successful shooters before Halo, don't get me wrong. But once Halo got the success that it did on the Xbox, what we saw was kind of everything trying to be Halo-esque. You know, that very accessible, that very jump in and play it for the first time and be able to do decently well at it because, you know, there are basic controls. And yeah, there are better strategies that you can use, and people who have played longer are probably going to do better. But that doesn't really mean that it is, you know, the most complex thing that's ever gone out there. And I really want to see things that are trying to not just be the next Halo, that aren't just trying to be the next Call of Duty. I want to see things that are trying to be the next new thing, which is what Perfect Dark tried to do. But then Xbox launched and Halo did really well, and Perfect Dark didn't have the graphics to match it because it was still an N64 game instead of an, at the time, next-gen game. And so a lot of the things that Perfect Dark did right got kind of lost to the wayside because it just wasn't as remembered coming out right at the end of a console generation as a launch title in the form of Halo was. Looks like we do have another snake pit on this level, as well as our Ujedi, which means that we can do some diamond mining here, which I am very happy for. Don't make me pick up that gem. I want to mine diamonds. Okay, so let's take this up here, get our Jedi back. Screw you, parachute. So I'm going to kind of end my rant on why I feel like first-person shooters need to be improved back to the way they used to be here. But really all I'm asking for from future first-person shooters that would make me, and I think a lot of people, buy the game, is a little bit more reliance on the fact that gamers can make decisions and play games that are complex. You know, don't just give me a couple of weapons and make me choose a loadout at the beginning. Let me take every weapon on the level. Let me decide how I want to mix and match the weapons that we spawn into the level being used, you know? That's another thing, is a lot of places no longer have the ability to customize each weapon spawn. You know, you could, back in Perfect Dark, you could customize all, I think it was 9 weapons could spawn per level, and you could set what each one was as a custom set, which would allow you to obviously... Sorry, this takes a little bit of concentration, thank you. Which would allow you to really kind of, you know, if you wanted a game that was just all out crazy, you spawn a Slayer in there with its fly-by-wire rockets, you spawn in a, you spawn in the N-bombs, you spawn in the, yep. You spawn in the, remote mines, the proximity mines, you spawn in all that stuff, and suddenly you've got a game that's not just basing itself on... Oh, I shouldn't have picked that up. I should have ghosted that. Which way is the ghost coming from? Probably from the left, right? Yes. Let's get him to hit this ruby. Couldn't do it. That's unfortunate. But yeah, I feel like a lot of first-person shooters have moved away from trying to make themselves as complex as possible and trying to give themselves as much depth as possible to trying to just kind of trying to make them as accessible as possible. I don't think that's the way that it should necessarily be going. You know, I don't necessarily mean that I want things to be hyper-realistic and have them be... what am I looking for here? I won't be able to get this sapphire head. I'm not really looking for them to be super crazy, all around, you know... What's the word I'm looking for here? Oop. Sorry. Ghosting takes a little bit of concentration. But yeah, I'm not looking for them to be necessarily, you know, hyper-realistic things. No, I just want them to give the players a little bit more credit than they do in terms of, you know, letting the players kind of create their own game inside the game. It's something that we used to see a lot more, but people have started playing it safe in every genre in the AAA community. But I feel like shooters have been hit the hardest by it, just because they are a genre that is huge selling because of its popularity in multiplayer, and it's taken them away from trying to innovate the genre and really just trying to incorporate things that have worked before into it. Well, I made this a bit tough for myself. Oh god, no, 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 no. Climbing gloves, I hate you. So I'm going to stop that rant now, and we're going to focus on the Spelunky run that's going decently well. I mean, nowhere near yesterday when we had 200,000+ by the time we had exited the mines. But we also didn't ghost a vault because we did not have the jetpack in time to do so. So that kind of hurt our chances of having a great run in terms of score early, but we've got something brewing here. We got, I think, every gem on that level either ghosted or at least picked up if we weren't able to ghost it. We're now onto the jungle with, you know, only one sacrifice done in a, well, one and a part, because we did sacrifice that shopkeeper as well. This guy has hired help. He shouldn't be an issue. He should be stuck in there. I was doing some attempts at speedruns earlier before I started recording, just as kind of warm-up, and seriously, monkeys just ruined my day. Like, monkeys were the doom of multiple runs, of the one run, simply by way of a ridiculous amount of, what am I looking for here? A ridiculous amount of something. Oh yeah, I had 3 ropes left. The first monkey that jumped on me stole my 3 ropes. I had 3 bombs left. 3 monkeys jumped on me in quick succession and each took 1 bomb, which almost killed me from not being able to get away from the bombs because of the spikes underneath me. It was just like they were getting the best draws they possibly could have from the RNG, and it was kind of annoying, I won't lie. You'll pay for your crimes? I doubt it, Mr. Shopkeeper, because that means that you've already been injured. So we do have Doggy up here. We might want to come back for him. We do also have some gems that we can get to. Oh god. Wait for it, go. There we go. And there is also the vault on this level, as well as our black market. So where is our black market? Where is it looking like? Seems like it's over this way further. Not necessarily. Let's go down to the next level here, and oh god. Go over there! Haha, big frog! I suppose I could have left that, Oh, I see it. I suppose I could have left that one area a little bit, more open. And that might have helped me, but... it's gonna work out. I mean that one gem, not that one area. What am I even talking about at this point? Oh god, he escaped. Okay, there we go. So now we're gonna wait for the ghost to spawn while I take a quick drink. There we go. One other thing I'd like to add on this run is that we have a pretty decent setup. We're very close to getting a Kapala. We've got the shotgun obviously already. We just need to keep building up money, and we're going to be able to put up a decent run today at least. Of course, I'm still disappointed by that daily challenge death earlier, which was horrible. That shouldn't have happened. Like, I'm not going to go out and say that, you know, that was just bad luck. That was purely just me not thinking things through. While I was bouncing on that spider, I should have seen that it was going to bounce onto the spikes eventually and gotten out of dodge, so to speak. But that kind of thing does happen. You make mistakes sometime while you're trying to deal with enemies who could kill you very easily. You know, I forget, we never did pick up the damsel on this level. I forgot about that, didn't I? Should we go back and get it is the question. You know, it is not necessarily the easiest thing to run around the entirety of the jungle level with the ghosts chasing you. Okay, well we only got one of these gems, which is kind of disappointing. I was kind of hoping to get both of them with that bomb, but I threw it kind of quickly. Anyway, we have the doggy now, so we will get a health back out of this. And we're also going to get our gems, which does bring us up over 200,000. Disappointing to remember by the time we were at the black market last time, we were, I think, pretty close to 100,000 ahead of this. But, it works. Whatever. Yeah. Walk the other way, shopkeeper. Good boy. Keep walking. Keep walking, buddy. Now, having this being a kissing booth could cause us some problems, but we made it work. Good. Oh, god damn it, Snail. I didn't think that bubble was going to drift over to me enough. So now here is obviously best to use a couple bombs, because this guy could be a problem for us in terms of dropping down and trying to kill him. But if we do this, just barely missed him apparently. Come on now. Nope, didn't quite get it. Didn't quite kill him either. God damn it, shopkeepers. Why you gotta be so good at protecting your stuff, huh? Why can't you just let me steal your stuff in peace and die? God damn it. I have wasted so many bombs on this man. At least we're gonna get more. And down here we have one bomb bag, spike shoes we already have, spring shoes we already have, and there's another bomb box down there. So I do want to go get that. First things first, we're going to take out this tiki trap, because it can do nothing at this point but harm us. And then we're going to start tossing some bombs down here at this shopkeeper, which we managed to not stick him, but we managed to kill him. Now I think the smart thing to do here is to bomb our way over there. I think it will come with less risk. Especially if we bomb like right here. Now we can kind of treat this like we do the vaults in terms of just blowing up that opening and then just firing away until they die. Good. And we also get that bomb bag out of that. So that works out well for us. Oh god, oh god. I just kind of freaked out for no reason, but yeah. Up to 227,000 now, which is not bad. Sorry, 220. Was it? Yeah, 222,000. I read the 3 2s and I saw the 7. And I just kind of assumed that the 7 was the third number, and it was actually the 4th. There we go. Take out that snail at a distance so he doesn't cause us problems. We don't have a whole lot of health right now. That's kind of our sticking point. We are well on our way to getting a Kapala, but until we get one, we're kind of rough on health at the moment. Ooh, I did not notice those spikes there at first. That would have been a really, really horrible way to end this run. I don't see anything important over that way. Obviously our exit is over here. We should be able to just jump and shoot until this guy dies. Good. This is Jungle 2-4. Did we ever get a vault on the jungle? Yes, we did actually. It was on the black market level. That makes sense. I remember now. I'm not a complete idiot. You know what? We should probably, I guess, go explore this way. There might be an altar that we weren't able to see from anywhere else, so I want to make sure that's not the case. There's not, but there is a little bit of gold, I guess. A frog that I can kill easily. Just to laugh in the face of all frog kind. And here we go to the ice caves. Let's make something good happen this run. We started it late in the episode after a bunch of fails. You know, it's already a successful run, all things considered. Any run where you are up to this score, up to this amount of gold is pretty good. We're gonna hold off on picking up gems for a while. I should really take the time one of these days to do a full ghost run. And especially with potentially this series ending soon, it would be kind of smart to do that. But it's also kind of a major time commitment to the episode. And so it makes me worry if people would even bother to watch through the good run that ended up coming from it. But this seems like a good floor to... Or this seems like as good a run as any, with the series probably coming close to an end, to try to make something good happen on this run. Obviously the damsel doesn't help us health-wise, so I'm not too concerned about getting him. We're going to have to sacrifice ourselves in the next floor or two anyway. I probably want the ghost to come from the left side to hit the vault early, because I can't really... Can I get under there? Yes, I can. So actually I want him to come... Ooh, but if I have him come from this way, I can have him hit that emerald there. But that's going to take 2 bombs to get to, no matter how I slice it. Actually, no, because I can just kind of... Oops, I didn't mean to do that right now. I meant to illustrate that I could do that and not actually do it. So that was a waste of a bomb. So we're going to wait for the ghost over here so that he hits this sapphire. We can hit that emerald, take him down to the vault, the ruby by the damsel. Should work out. A little bit of dancing to the music going on here. Come on, Mr. Ghost. I mean, this probably won't be our high score run. If I had to guess, just looking at our scores so far, 245,000 by the ice caves isn't that great. Obviously, we've still got the City of Gold to go. If we can get some more bombs, we could make a lot happen there. We got at least one more vault to go if we choose to ghost it. So we do have some good times to come in terms of money making, but as a whole, this is not so far a great money run. It's a good money run, but I don't know if it's, you know, 900,000+, which is what it would take to get a new high score. I don't know if it's potentially good enough for that. So we're going to cross our fingers that it is, but no guarantees there. You know what, I kind of want to bring the ghost up this way. Oh, you took the perfect angle. You went exactly how I wanted you to, Ghost. Because now I can screw my parachute. No, I'm not going to screw my parachute. I mean, now I can do that. In terms of getting rid of it. And that should have hit the ruby. Now we have him come down this way. Get him all over those. Oh, yeah. That's some good diamonds. Your gems are now diamonds. This ghost is made of Old Spice. That would have been great product placement, actually. If they had gotten a deal with Old Spice to make the ghost be made of Old Spice, so that when he turned things into diamonds, it was like the commercials. That would have been a great marketing idea. A lot more bombs right here for free, with pretty much zero risk to ourselves. That makes me really happy. We've got 64 bombs now. Now, the tough thing there is, do we use them on the ice caves to make some extra money? Do we use them to, you know, open up important areas? Do we use them for... Also, I should add, I'm collecting the gems mostly because I don't know if I want to ghost on this level, really. There's not going to be a whole lot here, and the ice caves are one of the hardest areas to blow up more gems. They tend to fall off edges when you do that. Oh, shopkeeper's already dead. How convenient. And our big giant head is here, so we're going to bring our damsel up, and then we're going to kill ourselves. But, what was I saying? Yeah, the ice caves tend to be kind of difficult to get gems out of walls, just because they tend to fall into the abyss. So, to go about trying to ghost on these levels when there's not much on the level itself is kind of not necessarily your best choice. Boom! We got the hedge it. We got the hedge it. Now I just need more health. Like if I could get an altar on this floor, I would be the happiest man. Because that would mean that I could get my Kapala. I knew that was going to be risky, but it worked out now, didn't it? 2 dead Yetis just bouncing on the pad. 2 dead Yetis bouncing on the bed. That sounds like a much more painful thing than 2 monkeys bouncing on the bed. Let's be honest here. Yetis that fell would probably get hurt more than monkeys. Yetis tend to be heavier things. No sign of an altar on this level. Unfortunately, of course, our shopkeeper is dead with no way of us getting the shotgun. So let's go up here and we're going to retrieve that damsel, hopefully. Hopefully it is not, like, insanely hard to get to, which it wasn't. That UFO is actually in a rather friendly place. Oh dear god, there were like 4 mines there. Okay, and we'll go on to the to 3-4, sorry. 3-4 with 6 health, which is not bad. It feels like the 4th of July, indeed it does. You know, we've probably got the bombs needed where we can make the mothership work, but as usual, I don't really go to the mothership all that often. So I don't know if it would be worth it or not. That worked out exactly as planned. I am kind of impressed, because I did not know if it would or not. We're going to open up this damsel for ourselves, which should give us another health at the very least, if not a Kapala. Of course, a health is a more immediately tangible benefit, but the Kapala is more long-term benefit by a long shot. We've got 69 bombs. How could you want any number other than that in terms of bombs? I don't know how you could, because I know that I sure couldn't. If I could just stick with 69 bombs forever, I'd be a happy, happy man. Although that would really not mean that I had 69 bombs, that would mean I had infinite bombs and just set it to 69, which also means I'm cheating, so we'll probably never see me have infinite bombs. Infinite 69 bombs, I guess I should say. Shopkeeper's dead already. That was really, really easy, as it tends to be on the ice caves. So, yeah, I guess we go on to the temple now. This is going well so far. I'm going to look forward to getting a shotgun. Sorry, I had to remove my toes from a hole in my sock, because some of my socks that I used to wear to work all the time, and all kind of got a lot of holes in them. If I want to get those crates, I want to go down from the side over there. Which is going to take a lot more bombs to do later than it will to do now. Now I want to go down from the side over here because I can bomb and get rid of all that lava, which makes the lava much less threatening. Okay, and then we need to use a rope to set off that arrow trap. That's just fine. Let's get rid of this lava. There we go. Now we can get this crate, which has 3 ropes. This one, which has a camera. If this were like 2 floors later, like if this were the City of Gold, that camera would be hugely useful. Instead, it's just kind of a almost worthless item that might serve a little bit of a purpose before I get rid of it. And let's bomb our way to the bottom here. Of course, there is that vault there, which I am happy that I have easy access to. Oh, that arrow just had to hit that shopkeeper. Ooh. That worked out perfectly. Now, of course, the question of how we want to break that vault open is still there. But we also need to find Anubis. Okay, he's up that way. We need to do some maintenance of things that can kill us first. Okay, so this should free Anubis up to start coming toward us. We can start pumping him full of lead. There we go. His scepter is ours. Which also allows us an easy way to kill this wall keeper before we open it up. Let's just open it up this way. We will need to be a little bit careful of that thwomp, so let's just get rid of that now. I said get rid of it now. Okay, so now I kind of would rather have the ghost come from this way. But I also want to get rid of this tiki trap, because that could be a problem for us. No, we're going to use an extra bomb here to get an extra gem out of this. Okay, now we need to go over here and get this ghost to come up this way. It is actually going to be kind of hard to get him to hit that ruby now that I think of it. So we're just going to take the ruby, and then we are going to move onwards. Not the most effective ghosting, and obviously we didn't ghost nearly everything we could have on that level, but it works out for us. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! How am I still alive? I forgot to hit down before I hit X, and I feel like I should be dead. I don't think I had enough health to survive a blast from the scepter. I don't know what just happened, honestly. I feel like I have cheated the system. I don't see anything of value up that way. Getting rid of some of the lava at least to make things a little bit less threatening. I swear to God, if I had died right there, I would have probably been extremely upset. If we use a few bombs, we can get some gems as well as a crate, which I think is a worthwhile usage. And we might not get anything more than what we put in terms of bombs out of it. We might not even get as much as we put in out of it. But we'll at least get some gold as well. Yeah, we get a parachute. A couple more bombs for another crate. Why not? We have a lot of them. I know I should probably not be hemorrhaging bombs like this, but what can I say? I can't resist the temptation of more crates. That arrow trap had already gone off. I could tell that beforehand. Our shopkeeper is down there. In fact, if we had our scepter on hand, we probably could have taken care of him easily. That position of that city of gold is kind of horrifying. Shopkeeper is dead. Now we want to probably bomb our way in over here. And just for safety's sake, we're going to blow that up. I know it probably won't impact anything at all, but we might as well just to be safe. Get our shotgun. Anything else we have going on here? Not really. Okay. On to the City of Gold we go. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! We are up to almost 500,000. So we're doing decently on this run in terms of money. Maybe not excellently, but decently. I'm surprised that didn't end up killing my doggy. I don't know if I'll end up trying to save that doggy or not, because he's all the way up at the top of the City of Gold, which is not a good place to be if you want saved. Couple bombs for a crate, and also a bunch of gold. Sounds fair to me. Now, of course, doing this is much more lucrative on the City of Gold, because you get gold for every block that you destroy. Yes, walk away, Mr. Mummy. Thank you. Now I can shoot you from a distance, nice and safely. Get that scarab. Toss a bomb here. Let's pop that open. There we go. And our shopkeeper has died. That's a good thing. We are actually going to bomb this tiki trap by the exit so nothing stupid happens later. And we're going to bomb this thwomp because otherwise I have a feeling it will kill me. That thwomp is also threatening. I know I've done like everything but the one thing that I actually need to do in the City of Gold. Good, that was what I was hoping would happen, because now I can easily blow it up. Just getting rid of everything that might be an issue first. Now we can toss 2 bombs on him, get out of there, because otherwise we might have a situation like that one where he just kind of exploded on my head real quick. And exploded his way over to my head, and then blew up on me. We could go get our damsel, I guess. You might as well build up a little bit of extra health while we have the chance. We're also going to toss some more bombs around here as we go. Preferably places with gems that we can pick up from the wall as well as the gold. Okay, and the ghost has arrived. Nothing super dangerous down here. Am I seriously considering ghosting the City of Gold a bit? I think I am. I think that's what I'm considering. Oops. That could have been bad, but we worked it out. We need him to change this ruby. And then get down to ground level. Oops. Oh god. Let's drop off our damsel. This is actually really dangerous, mind you. Like, of all the places where ghosting starts to get to where I actually worry about it, the City of Gold and Hell are pretty much the areas that sum that up. Oh god. We are approaching that 700,000 mark, which isn't bad. Just plant a bomb there, get this diamond, get some more gold. You will probably only use a few more bombs here. Good. Now get down to ground level to hit this sapphire. Good job, Mr. Ghost. You're doing everything exactly how I want you to. You are playing into my hand wonderfully. Come on, Tiki Trap. Come at me. I mean, really, most of the stuff that we're getting here isn't stuff that ghosting actually makes a difference for. And I kind of wish that we could have gotten it before the ghost came, so I wouldn't even have to deal with that. But this is a very dangerous spot to put myself in. We're going for it. There we go. It worked out. Let's drag him downward some, picking up some more gold while we go. Come up here to pick up the gold and diamonds from that little excursion. I still don't know if that tiki trap, if that arrow trap has been set off or not, which is kind of terrifying, really. But you know, we'll use 2 more bombs to get some more gold. One can just go on top of these 2 tiki traps to destroy them. Good. And there is a gold chunk up here that I haven't gotten yet. And where else should I use a bomb? Probably like right about here. That worked out well. Oh god. Almost caused my death with the climbing gloves right there. Let's grab our shotgun and let's get on to Olmec with almost 700,000. So I take that back what I said earlier. This might actually be our high score run. If I can pull off and go through hell, this could turn out well for us. Obviously I've got enough bombs where I can dig down to the hell door without having to actually fight Olmec whatsoever, which is a big help. We don't have a Kapala, which does worry me a little bit, but honestly it's a lot less useful by the time you're down to hell, and at 8 health there's not much that's going to be an issue that would have not been one with more, you know what I mean? Like, having more than 8 health wasn't going to make a big difference over having 8 health. It's good against explosions to have over 10, but the main things you have to worry about in hell are spike traps, and for those we are set. Spike traps or badly placed tiki trap combos that result in you having no way to get anything out of them. So where is our Nom Nom Nomicon going crazy at? Seems to be right about here. So right about the hole that he started to begin with, which is not a bad thing. Let's drag him over to the corner here. Good, now get out of here before he can do anything about it, and then we're going to place bomb here, bomb here. And this should progressively dig down a perfect path for us. This is aligned properly, correct? It is indeed. I think there might be a jetpack in the wall down here. There is. So if I didn't have a jetpack yet, I could get one now, but I'm pretty sure that I've had a jetpack for quite some time, so I'm not too concerned with that one. Okay, and our path to hell has been opened. I wouldn't mind getting those rubies, but it would cost me a couple more bombs, and I think this is a good amount of bombs to go into hell with. And there we go. On to hell. It's been a long time since I've been here. I'm a little bit excited. So nothing over here in Lava Central. There's a potential damsel over here, but also a potential succubus. And it was a damsel. 3 ropes, not really worth the danger there, but oh well. Went for him anyway. So now we could go for Vlad's amulet. Is it worth it, is the question. I think it is. I think that given my past experiences in hell, I think that having Vlad's amulet makes a big difference to my chances of success. And it was actually relatively easy to get, so that's good. That means that lava is no longer an issue, neither are firemen. Shopkeeper, are you dead? No, you're glitched out halfway across the level. That sounds good to me. Ooh, he came back to life right when I hopped down. That was rather worrisome, but we made it out of there. If we can break over 800,000 before we leave, before we get to Yama, I feel like we have a shot at the million. I'm not sure if that's an accurate depiction of what we'll need to make it happen, but I think it'll be enough. Now this is a little bit of a tricky area here, and by a little bit of a tricky area, I mean this is crazy! Okay, we made it through. Grab our shotgun back. That was rather scary, but it worked out for us. Get rid of that guy, because he can hurt me, his fire can't. Just in case we didn't have pace yet, there we go. Honestly, I don't imagine myself getting to hell without paste. It seems like it is almost a borderline necessity. I'm sure it's possible, but I have never gotten anywhere close to hell if I haven't gotten paste. Okay, so this is this type of layout, which worries me. Ooh, I almost just flew myself right onto that. That was a good shot. I almost messed it up there at the end, but oh well. Okay, his pod could have hurt me, but you know what? We only have one level left in hell. Let's grab a gem here. I don't see myself using up 11 more bombs before I can get more on the Yama fight just to pass through hell. So I think we can be a little bit more loose with them. Obviously, once we get there, we're pretty much going to exclusively use the shotgun to kill the 2 bits of backup, as well as to handle Yama himself, most likely. There is an idol here. I don't think I've ever actually run into an idol on hell before. I don't really have any interest in trying to get that. I think it'll probably just result in me dying. I don't know about you, but I would like to see a successful run for the first time in a while. And I guess I could probably bomb some of those things out of the way, but that just seems like asking for it. So now we just need to be careful on this level, and we'll make this happen. The shopkeeper is already dead, so let's get a bomb there. Okay. Now, after these all go, we can run through here. Okay, we did not quite break 800,000 before going into Yama. So I don't think we're going to break 1,000,000, but we're going to be really, really, really close after we get all those rubies and we get our 100,000 bonus. Oh man, this has been a good run actually. Honestly, now that we're on Yama, I don't really have any worry that we aren't going to beat this run. Yama is not that hard of a boss as a whole. He is actually probably significantly easier than Olmec, although that is a horrible place. I want to go to the other side, because that scares the crap out of me. He's not that hard of a boss, but this one scares me. Okay, put a bomb there, toss another rope up, and then we just kind of shoot the shotgun until he dies. There we go. Yama dead. Like I said, once we had that, once we got to Yama, there was really no threat to us. Outside of making a stupid mistake and trying to do something way too complex on him. Yama is a very easy boss. Let's collect all of our ruby treasure, which is about 25,000 per level. Oh, we might actually break 1,000,000. I think we are going to. Holy crap, this is my first 1,000,000 run. This is my first 1,000,000 plus run. Holy crap, I did not expect this. I did not expect my goal to be accomplished today. Haha! 91, 911, and we are going to be up to probably like 1.5 million or so, or not 1.5 million, 1,100,000 or so, a little bit shy of that. Now I know this is stupid, but I can't resist seeing what was in my crates over here, so we're gonna take a stupid risk and blow up all these things, and we're gonna go over there and get our stuff. Die, vampire. And then let's just make sure that there's nothing that we could get that would give us more money down here. Does not seem like it. We get a cape, that's not going to help. Nothing in that pot. Okay. I think that's about all that we can manage for this. Let's wait and then go through our exit and watch our score tick over 1,000,000. It was an hour-long plus episode, but it resulted in the finally completion of our goal of breaking 1,000,000 points in score. Yes! Oh man. That was incredible. There were some times when I really questioned that run, not just in score, but in just a general I'm not sure if this run is going to work out type of way. But in the end, ding 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 ding. About 1,440,000. I like it. You will be remembered as a hero. So now we just briefly drop into the leaderboards here and see where that puts us. In terms of friends, I am in still second on my leaderboard, still behind Oreo here by 59k. 222nd on the overall leaderboards. That's pretty good. I'm not going to complain about being 222nd out of thousands of people. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode. That was really, really good, and it worked out really well. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Both my talks about FPS game design early in the episode, and that crazy awesome run later in the episode. As always, hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Take care, everyone, and have a good one. Later.